Good evening and welcome to our Cook Islands local news. I am Turi Arani. Cook Islands Prime Minister, the Honourable Mark Brown, recently completed his visits to each of the islands in the Cook Islands, just before he reached the one-year anniversary of his time as Cook Islands Prime Minister. His visits to the Pa'inua were also an opportunity for consultations on seabed minerals.
Yes, they've been really good. I mean, the last few weeks we've been to Mangaia, and also just last week we came back from Tongareva. So the most southernmost island and the most northernmost island. And that completes all of the islands now that I've managed to get across to see, not only for the Seabed Minerals Program, but also in my first visit as Prime Minister. In the year that I have been Prime Minister, 30th of September yesterday, I've managed now to visit all of the islands that our people live on, and being able to deliver the message on the Seabed Minerals Program. And I think it's important for our people to understand that there has been a big call for diversification of our economy, the impact on tourism by COVID, the importance of us to look at other ways to keep our economy moving forward. So it's inevitable that as an ocean nation, we will turn to our ocean for the resources and the wealth to help support and sustain our people. So the message that we've given out to our people is that we are ready to commence on the first stage of our Seabed Minerals Program, and that is the exploration phase. And exploration is about gathering data, it's about gathering information, it's about mapping, it's about testing, and it's about prospecting to get enough information for us to make a decision on whether we take the next step, and that is whether we move to harvesting these nodules that sit on the surface of the floor of the ocean. So I was very pleased with the consultations with the islands. The support that came from our people at each of these public meetings was, for me, overwhelming, and it was tremendous. And where we are right now with the process of the applications is through the due diligence right now. Those applications will then go forward to the licensing panel, who will make a recommendation to either grant a license for exploration or to decline an application. And I expect to have those applications ready for decision by the end of this year, December. And if there are then companies that have been granted exploration licenses, they will commence their work in 2022. And I know then that this is one of the first steps towards a new industry that we're looking to develop. Even if it's at the exploration stage, there will be people that will be required to support the work that's been undertaken for exploration. So it's a very exciting time for us. But it's a time where we are in control of our resources, we're in control of what takes place in our ocean, and it's a time when we control any future direction for our country and for our mineral resource in the ocean. So I really look forward to the outcomes of the due diligence process and the licensing panel recommendations and the first steps that we will take as a country in this new endeavour.
The Seabed Mineral Authority has just announced the appointment of a licensing panel. The role of the licensing panel is to evaluate applications for exploration licenses and recommend it to the Minister whether to grant or decline the applications.
Kia rana tātou katoa. We are pleased to announce the appointment by the Prime Minister of our expert Seabed Minerals licensing panel. The role of this expert Seabed Minerals licensing panel is to evaluate exploration license applications that we've received and to recommend to the Minister whether to grant or decline the applications. As required under our Seabed Minerals Act, the licensing panel is made up of experts with a minimum of 10 years experience in related seabed fields. This includes environment, legal, finance, engineering, maritime, and extractives. And it also includes a government representative. The licensing panel members are Garth Henderson, he is the Financial Secretary for MFEM, Pamela Maru, she is the Secretary for MMR, Ministry of Marine Resources. We have 3 environmental experts on this panel, and they are Malcolm Clark. He is a scientist at the New Zealand National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research. Alison Swadling, She is a Ocean Governance Advisor at the Commonwealth Secretariat based in the UK. And Richard Johnson. He is a former manager at the New Zealand Environmental Protection Authority. Then we have Hannah Lilly, as well as Chris Brown, who are both specialist legal advisors on seabed minerals. We also have Daryl Thorburn. He has worked for both New Zealand and the Cook Islands Mineral Authority and other overseas jurisdictions. And Aquila Tawake. He is the Deputy Director for Georesources and Energy Program at the Pacific Community in Fiji. These are both geologists by training. Rounding out the panel, we have Andrew Lipman, and he is the Director of the Subsea and Mining Operations for the American Bureau of Shipping. Now, the people on this panel are seabed minerals experts. They are also familiar with the Cook Islands seabed minerals nodules as well as our context. They include people who have direct experience with seabed licensing in overseas jurisdictions. We also have Garth Henderson, who has been appointed as the chair of this licensing panel. Garth, as we know, is one of our most senior government officials, and I believe is the right person to represent our national interests. We're really pleased with the caliber of experts that we have on this panel, and I'm confident that through their expertise, we will end up with good decision making in this exploration licensing process for the benefit of our country. Now, some of the matters that the licensing panel will consider include the applicant's exploration work plans, the applicant's technical capability, as well as their financial resources to carry out their proposed exploration activities, and also looking at how the Cook Islands will benefit from these exploration activities. In putting together this panel, which was appointed by the Prime Minister, we considered a number of Cook Islanders as well as international experts as far as the list of potential candidates. However, due to conflicts of interest, or in some cases, not enough seabed minerals expertise or experience, some names were removed from consideration. Now, I understand there was a comment from Te Pukaria Society calling for the inclusion of environmental NGOs. Now, if I can clarify, this is an expert body. The people that have been selected are required to have specialist seabed minerals expertise. As I said before, these needed to be people with a minimum of 10 years working in their specific seabed minerals fields. They would have had direct seabed minerals experience, qualifications, or have published seabed minerals publications. We also looked for people with no conflicts of interest and who are not bringing in their own personal agendas. I should also add that local NGO voices like Te Pukaria Society will still be included as they are part of the Marae Moana tag, so they have an opportunity to comment and be involved through that forum. Now, with the appointment of this expert licensing panel, all three bodies under the Seabed Minerals Act are now established. The first body is our office, the Seabed Minerals Authority, which, as we know, regulates seabed minerals activities. And of course, the other body is the Seabed Minerals Advisory Committee, which is made up of our community leaders and is chaired by Bishop Tutaipere. Now, our Seabed Minerals Advisory Committee, they represent the voice of our grassroots communities and people. And since their appointment, they have been providing us with that feedback from the community, which we appreciate and have been taking on board. Overall, I'm very pleased with how we're progressing our seabed minerals sector, and will continue to keep our people informed and involved in this process. For those that are interested in learning more about our expert licensing panel, I recommend that they visit our website at www.sbma.gov.ck. Me taki mata.